welcome to Spurs Kings TV. It is me, Marlon, this week, and it's finished Fulham 3, Tottenham 0 at Craven Cottage. Typical Spurs in effect. It's been a year since Conte's speech. Has anything changed? Anyway, it's not down to me to decide. Let me bring on our three guests. First of all, I'd like to welcome Are You Well, but apart from Spurs. Let's get the niceties out of the way first.
No, I'm good. You know, like it would have been a fantastic weekend had Spurs done their job, but you know, we move.
The next one, he missed the preview on Friday because he knew he needed a lesson from me and not Harry's nonsense this week. Right. But TJ, are you well?
People.
Are you well? Forget
the
top result. Yeah.
Am I well? No, I'm not well, bruv. Ask a Spurs fan, are they well after watching that shit?
And
I'm now ill.
Last of all, let me bring out my last guest. And last of all, I'd like to welcome to the show, Mark. Are you well? But apart from Spurs, are you well?
It goes hand in hand, mate. I can't say that I'm well after that. So no, I'm not well.
So let's get straight into it. And I'm going to start with your Scott Hall. I'm going to start with you, right? He went with the same lineup last week, right? I had issues with that lineup in the first half last week, but I wasn't surprised he went with the same one. Would you have changed anything, or was you expecting exactly the same?
No, I think he was fine to go with the lineup. Even last week, you know, people were like, "Oh, it was a poor first half." But to be fair, I think we had like some really good moments in the first half. We just weren't potent enough. But this game around, obviously, it'll come across that, you know, he's made a mistake going with this lineup. But no manager can equate for 6 players not turning up in the first half, and that's what basically happened. Maddison, Son, Ben, Kulu. I'm gonna really state some stuff about Kulu. Especially the last few games. Sarr was probably the best of our attacking options. Bissouma, absolutely smelly. You know, you can't make up for that. And then a lot of people will be like, "Oh, you know, the defense, we conceded 3 goals." Well, what do you expect the defenders to do if the people in front of them are not doing the one job that they're remitted to do, which is to protect them? You know, you can't be facing waves of attack over and over again. I know one of Fulham's first attacks in the first half started from Maddison giving away the ball unnecessary.
Yeah.
No, it was like, and we were doing this literally all of the first half. So Fulham deserved their goal. We had a moment in the first half where it looked like fine, you know, we sorted out our feet. We're gonna start to turn it up, and it died quicker than Conte's reign at Spurs, bro, because that bloody fraud. But yeah, it was absolutely waste of time. You know, there's people that have mortgage to pay, there's cost of living crisis, and you go and deliver that. Can't even get my money back.
Mark, I'm gonna start with you before I get to TJ. Starting lineup, you saw it, expected, or was you kind of like, this person should have started or that person should have started?
I had no issue with the starting lineup, if I'm being honest. I thought, you know, you go and demolish Villa at Villa Park, you got to start with the same. Obviously, VDV wasn't there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had no issue with the starting lineup at all, mate. I've got to be honest. To be honest, Marlon, I was thinking about coming on to this, and what can I say? Like, we didn't turn up, did we? It's as simple as that. Scott said it. We just didn't turn up. Fulham were the better team. We were shocking. And it's as simple as that. There's nothing really that I can say. Like, there's not one player that stood out. They were all terrible. All of them. To a man for me. So,
TJ, obviously you missed the preview on Friday. And Haz was probably less optimistic than Harry.
Of course.
Harry obviously over the top as he is. But obviously the lineup for you, was you like the guys above? Was you like, that's what you was expecting to see today?
Not to be rude, Marlon, I don't give a fuck about what players on the pitch. You could have the best players on the pitch, the bad players on the pitch. We should be beating Fulham. I don't care who's on the pitch. We could have Llorente, we could have Defoe, we could have anybody on that pitch. We should be beating Fulham. no disrespect in it to the Fulham guys that have turned into like a good side. We should be beating Fulham. It's Ange's fault. The tactics were wrong. The tactics were wrong. You know, I look. Let me take a step down in it. Hold on, before I lose my head. But my problem with what I saw today, and I've been saying this for weeks and weeks and weeks. Ange doesn't have a plan B, a plan C, a plan E, a plan F, a plan Z. He only knows one way of playing football. And if we do it and it works, it's it's a master. If the teams Fulham were the better side for 90 minutes. I don't usually turn off my game at 60 minutes. I said I had enough. It's always the first half, like we always talk about. Lineup was fine. That lineup is good enough to beat any team in the Prem. Let's now put that straight. Yeah. Whatever you say about the quality players, that lineup right there should beat anybody. So now we have to look at what Ange is trying to do. And for me, the tactics were wrong. Again, we struggled to create clear-cut chances. And I've been banging on about that for so long. So nothing's going to change. We're still playing shit, and that's how it goes. And look, you know, all the happy fans. So I'm just going to make this last point. Yeah, last point, and then you could go on, innit? For all the happy fans that were happy about us beating Aston Villa. When it works, it works. But when it doesn't, it goes tits up. So this is not the football I want to see. I'm scared sometimes. But enough said for me, man. I'm just not in the mood, man.
I think you're right to say that you're scared, especially when, because the way our system is set up, when it becomes chaos ball, it doesn't even change. It remains chaos ball for the remainder of the game. But there's a big problem that I think a lot of fans are not taking into consideration, which, to be fair, a lot of fans don't really want to take into consideration because of the kind of managers we've had in the past where, you know, maybe things might not be going well for like half a game or 2 games in a row, and so they'll change it up, all of this kind of stuff. But Ange has come here and he said, I've got a particular style of football. This is the style of football that I want the entire team to understand and play. So when I chop and change players, the style of football may not change, but the quality will stay as high as possible. The biggest problem we have in this team since the turn of probably the new year, that a lot of our
I was going to agree with that. Yeah,
a lot of our best players have been far inconsistent. And one of the biggest players that have been inconsistent and heavily inconsistent is Bissouma. Now, Maddison, I know a few people will be like, oh, you know, Maddison's been inconsistent, but Maddison's just literally come back from an injury. He's probably had a month's worth of football where he's finally got a good run. But Bissouma has literally been poor since game week 13. You couldn't name me a good performance.
Since he got sent off against Luton, he's been
literally,
poor.
and he was poor in that game as well. So you mean to tell me that our number 6, you know, who's meant to, you know, protect our back line and also receive the ball and, you know, really get the tempo going, hasn't been good for that? We're talking about nearly 20 games now. And then you're going to tell me that our front 3, Johnson, Son, for me, Son, this was more of a frustrating game in terms of his teammates not really helping him, but he also made some real poor decisions in the final third. But the one that probably infuriated me the most is Kulu. You know, and it's been all season. He gets into positions where, for the love of God, let the flipping shot go. Like, I don't give a damn if it doesn't go on target. Let it go. Yeah, just shoot,
Thank you,
please. Yeah, and he does this weird kind of cutback where, you know, fine, yeah, he might be able to jinky in between the 2 players and, you know, get into the box, but the outcome is poor. It's actually poor. For the position he gets in, we should be far more potent. And you're just saying.
Yeah, quick question on that though, right? So obviously you're looking at Kulu there. So, but have we got to not look at Ange then? Because Kulu, at every opportunity, right, doesn't get subbed majority of the time, and he's always playing.
I mean, yeah, you could look at Ange for that, but I mean, I don't want to say it. We don't actually have wingers. I think the actual only winger that I can actually think of in our team, I don't like him. I don't think anybody else does. It's Werner. Everybody else is like, oh, I can play there.
I would agree to that.
Yeah,
No, I agree. I agree with what you're saying, bro.
A set role. Kulu's a 10. When Kulu played in the 10 when Maddison was injured, it's probably the best performances we've got from him this season. Everything he's done out of the way.
I agree with that, but then I'm just gonna flip the script here. The reason why you don't feel like we have wingers is because Postecoglou's tactics relies on our wing backs inverting. So now our wingers are non-existent. Look, I'm not saying the quality of wingers that we have at Tottenham are great wingers. I'm not saying that. We don't have wingers. Simply, we don't. But when you have tactics that nullify our wingers, and let me be honest with you, I've analyzed it like this. You're going to have I have a fullback invert through the middle. Now, what's the winger have to do? He's going to have to go wide, right? So when you have a tactic like that, regardless of if you have wingers or if you don't have wingers, we're going to see the same ripple effect.
I don't think so.
That's why I blame Ange.
No,
personally.
I can see why Ange is blamed, but I don't actually think so on the sole basis that there isn't a winger that we have in our team that you could say 1v1 against any fullback, he'll cook him. There's not one. No,
but okay, but with this situation,
so when you have wingers that actually take on, okay,
Johnson and Werner are the two wingers that he's brought in.
Correct.
So you have to then sit there. But Kulu's not his, right? So I completely. Also correct, but he plays in there. No matter what he does, he's playing them on that right. So you're looking at Werner and Johnson, right? So if Werner and Johnson are not good enough, why is he saying yes to them? Because this is down to him. Because he's saying he said at the beginning of the season, his words, and I'm not saying that I'm saying this. His words were, "I will say I have the last say on every transfer," right? And Johnson, I know. Look, he's come out and said it. I've got to take his word for it, right? I know it's Tottenham, right? And I get it, right? But if he's saying that, and we're saying we haven't got no wingers, he's got to take some sort of thing that, right?
With the Johnson one, I can almost every manager's gonna have a stinky buy or buy that. We're like,
yeah.
I'm not too sure about that. Yeah? I mean, Alex Ferguson bought Bebe, so take him back whatever you want. But essentially, I can almost. I mean, he even bought Obertan. I mean, and that guy's cranium was the size of the world. But that's another day, another story.
Yeah.
I can almost circumnavigate the Johnson purchase.
Yeah.
I can even understand, despite the fact that I don't like it, the Werner loan. Yeah, on the basis of we weren't going to go into the market and actually spend big money.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
On an actual winger, so I can understand the loan. I don't like it. I can understand it from a business standpoint. You get a body in to fill the space, blah, blah, blah. What I don't like is Johnson can't take on a man. Don't know why. Hasn't got the pace. Well, for some reason, his pace doesn't seem to work. Oh, he just can't dribble. Yeah. So he's not good enough to take on a man. Our best take on kind of player in the attacking third is Son. He ain't got the legs no more. He's in his 30s. And Kulu, to be fair, Kulu can take on players, but he seems to be doing that work better in the middle of the pitch as opposed to being wide. So now you've got, you're right, our two fullbacks who actually can take on players, by the way. Yeah, both our fullbacks can take on players with ease, are now inverted in, and our wingers are just standing there and they don't even deliver a crossing, which annoys me because I'm like, if you're going to cut back onto your stronger foot, whip it. Like, make them defend the flipping ball. Like, I don't understand all of this. Like, if you're gonna pass it, then make a move. And that's why I can almost slightly, I can't believe I'm doing this. I can almost slightly respect Werner in the sense of when he passes that ball centrally, he makes that natural winger move to the byline to give the option of,
But that's what he's good at.
I mean, that seems to be the only thing he's good at.
I have to disagree with that, man.
Hey, it's the run he makes because Johnson doesn't.
He's not good enough. But we're
Johnson
not.
Johnson hesitates with that run, and Kulu doesn't make that run. Period.
Yeah.
So you almost killed everything in one attack. But what I saw today was disgusting. Like seriously, Maddison.
Apparently, with Maddison, and I'm going to come to Mark next. Maddison apparently is not fully fit. That's the reason why he came
So
off.
why play him?
His ankle. He has to play him.
Whoa.
So Mark,
stupid fucking rule. Sorry, my bad.
yeah.
My bad.
Mark, I'm coming to you now, right? Because we spoke a lot about this first half, right? And the first half for weeks has been poor, right? But usually we've made it up in the second half, right? Why is it we're not playing well in this first half? And why? And then today, why has it gone on to the second?
As I said to you, Marlon, usually I've got a lot to say, mate. I don't know what to say today. Like, I have no answers. I have no answers for you because I don't know why. Fulham were the better team. It's as simple as that. We did not turn up. Like, no, what I can't say to you. I cannot give reasons today. I don't know why we didn't turn up, but they just didn't. Well, they weren't at it from the first kick.
Yeah.
They just weren't at it. They were not at, mate. We didn't have a shot until I think like the 70-odd minute, end of the 70th minute. I don't know, mate. Even the shots we had, the shots we had were shit. They weren't good shots. So I have no answer. But Mark, I'm just. I might as well not even come to me, mate, because I have nothing. I have nothing to give. I have nothing to say or give to you today because I have no answers to any of it. That's what I was saying. I was watching it. And I go, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck it was. Why we didn't turn up. No one was doing anything, mate. There was no one dragging us. I looked at the bench and I thought, you know what? At least the only positive I could come on and say, actually, we got quite a strong bench. We've got decent players to come on, but they didn't do anything when they come on. Werner missed the sitter,
which is typical. Right. This is and now
doing Werner things, you know.
Werner things, yeah.
But,
16 million.
Yeah. So I don't know, mate. I don't know why we didn't show up in the first half. I don't know why. I texted my mate. I said, look, all we can hope is. I said, look, I would settle for a draw now. Half time, I said, I'll settle for a draw because we just was not there. Like I've seen performances again when we've not shown up in the first half, sort of, but you could think actually we're gonna come back out and I knew today. You could tell. I don't know what has happened in the week, but they were not there at all, and I don't know why.
TJ, I'm going to bring up two other away games this year that we haven't played well in and which we've lost. Brighton and Wolves. Very, very similar to those games again, right?
Yeah.
But yet, Ange today waits to a 3-0 down to make subs. Why is he waiting so long?
He's concussed.
Because the reason why I'm asking is because we all clearly, I think everyone on this panel has basically said after that first half performance, and then after they've come out in the second half, within 5 minutes, you saw his team talk had no effect on them's players. I think we all saw that. And once that second goal went in, right, it was a case of just bring on whatever sub you can now. It weren't even about the team on the pitch because they weren't.
Again, he's concussed. Again, he's concussed. I listen. I'm sorry, man. I might be the negative fan, and any Tottenham fan that's what gonna call me deluded, go for it. I don't give a damn minute. You know, this is my view. He's concussed in it, and I've been saying this for weeks. In it, like we haven't been playing well at all. We haven't been playing well. I even believe, you know, we get this thing that keeps getting drawn up every Friday. Has Ange been found out? That's another thing that gets brought up every single week, innit? And you have to speak about it every single week. If you can't see, we've been playing poor for such a long while, and it's not just this one game. You brought up Brighton, you brought up Wolves. I generally believe that Ange is not flexible, to be honest with you. And it's kind of scary. Do you know the reason why I'm saying it? Because if you don't have a manager that's going to change his ways, and I'm not saying change his whole dimension of football, because it's pretty like crazy if you're going to just change everything at one go, right? But you have to be adaptable. You have to have go for it.
TJ, did he really need to be adaptable today? Because as we've all said, the players haven't turned up. So is it a case of he just needs to change man for man instead of actually being, because I get the Wolves and the Brighton game, there was certain tactics today, but actually there was no player on that pitch apart from, and I agree with about this. If the back four is not being protected and everything's coming at them, you expect them goals to actually go in, right?
Of course.
So
yeah.
But if your midfield and your front three are stinking up the place, and he's not changing it in that way, it's not even down to tactics. It's the desire, isn't it? Because I think everyone has pretty much said there was no desire. Fulham
Yeah,
wanted
but he's the person that lines up the players and tells them what to do. He's he's the type of person that has been starting off poor for a poor first half for a numerous weeks. You know, it's been what 6-7 weeks we haven't actually turned our first half, and you know, so I get you're saying if the 6 players in front of you are whack, then it's definitely the players. But even when he brought on subs, they were still whack, right? That's my argument.
Slightly better, but we wasn't. It's still.
No.
I think the front three is still a problem. I said this last week.
I fully believe this is what I believe. Maybe I might be wrong. Anybody can. I'd rather you pull it out. Even chat can even pull out if I'm wrong, innit? But I generally believe Ange's tactics it's causing us more harm than good. Put it like this, you know.
Is it because of the players can't play it though? Is that probably the reason behind it?
We don't have the okay, cool. Put it like this, yeah. Cool.
Because against Villa last week.
No. I'm going to use this analogy. Yeah, you have you're going to go to the car shop, innit? You have what six grand in your pocket, right? You can only spend 6 grand, but you're looking at Lamborghinis. So my point is this: if you don't have the right players to play your system, then you're playing the wrong system. Am I right or wrong to say that?
No, you
have to be adaptable with the players that you have, right?
Yeah.
So put it like this, innit? Yeah, you've now trying to implement a style, and clearly the style is not working, or for whatever reason you don't have the players in place to play.
TJ, a lot of people would say the style is working to a certain
extent.
Yeah,
because Happy Feet Harry is happy about everything. Yeah, cool. I call him out every single week. I can call him out because he's my co-host, and he knows it's not ill nature. We're not going to be beefing because we come back down to certain fans have that man, because I equally argue our summer window and our windows were not the greatest. We could have got even better because I'm not good. Listen, players like Werner, and it always goes back down to this. Players like Werner, are they good or they're not? I personally don't rate the player. He shouldn't actually be in our squad. I believe we should have better players. Johnson's another one. I believe we should have better players. You know, them players are not Tottenham. Come on, man. From Bells to like all the greats, we have. You know, I'm just depressed, man. You're not going to get a good answer from me.
What I would say about the whole Ange and changing these tactics kind of thing is, and this hasn't actually happened at Spurs for a very long time. But I think the last time, if I'm being brutally honest, a manager actually, there's 2 managers, but one of them changed it after his second season. Don't know why. Completely came against us. But 2 managers in which they stuck to their philosophies and they actually worked in our favor, regardless of what the results were. And that was Martinho and Poch. So Harry changed every single week because, you know, he wanted us to have a flipping laugh in the pub, bloody bastard. That's another day, another story. Yeah. And, you know, the more negative or pragmatic kind of managers, you know, they had their set ways. So in terms of Ange and his system, especially this being the first season after what we had last season, I have no problems with him actually not changing his tactics. I do agree though in terms of the adaptability, but I don't think the adaptability in terms is to do with the tactics. It's more the selecting of personnel for certain games. I.e., this kind of game might have been, and I don't like the player whatsoever, but it might have been better to have played Højbjerg or Bentancur over Bissouma. Do you get what I'm saying? Or even say, look at Maddison in training and be like, you know what, I'm not going to have you there. I'm going to drop Kulu. It might have been better to just switch the personnel around. Yeah. Because essentially the personnel let us down. However, for this first one season, I'm fine with Ange keeping the same tactics. Because one, it's, let's be honest. Yeah, like I know fans don't want to actually take this on board. I don't think we're ever going to experience what we experienced after the 10th game ever again as football fans. I don't think we are. Because people need to take into consideration after that Chelsea game. I've never in my life of watching football seen a team take the lead, get a second goal, which was ruled off offside, give away a penalty, see a player get sent off, see the second centre back get injured minutes later, somehow still keep a high line, see another player get sent off in the second half, go down to 9 minutes. You will never. I can't even. I could tell my son a fake story, and he still will never see a moment like.
And what makes that moment worse is in the 88th minute, if I remember correctly, it was 2-1.
Yeah,
Bentancur misses that header, and it could have ended 2-2. And
Eric Diabolical even equalizer. And
Dyer.
So you're saying it's based on this one game that we're playing shit?
Yeah, no. My thing is, from that point, yeah. Obviously, we've now gone into other games, and this is where I was like, you know what? I actually have some respect for Ange. The guy after Wolves saw what Dyer did and said, never again. Never again. I'm going to play four fullbacks. We lost a lot of games in that time period, granted, yeah. Games that we probably shouldn't have won in terms of how our attack did, but our defense was absolutely shocking. Makes sense. But we stuck to our guns, picked up an away draw at City, lost at home to West Ham and Aston Villa, even though we played them off the park and somehow didn't get the second or third goal.
And probably our best two performances.
Probably our best performances,
which is so what to say.
In that run as well.
Yeah.
Now we've come back and our full team is kind of back and all that kind of stuff. There's been games, I do agree. That first half in a lot of these games have been poor and we've turned it around in the second half. That's fine. But my whole thing is we can't be changing the tactics because these players need to understand. Come summer, this is the main tactic. Then when we get to summer and we're doing this, then you can be like, you guys have had a whole season of this one tactic. This should be second nature. I don't want people to think, oh.
So you believe I'm jumping the gun too soon?
Yeah, very soon. Only on the basis of we have to just look at like previous managers. All managers that are supposedly meant to be the best of the best, yeah, have literally been beyond stubborn with their tactics. Some of them, and I do agree with you, some of them are great at changing their tactics on the fly, i.e. young Jose Mourinho, young Ancelotti, old Ancelotti, like they're great at changing their tactics on the fly. But managers like Pep, Klopp, heck, I can't believe I'm saying this, even Arteta was stubborn. They were like, Arteta had Arsenal finishing 8th back to back. But
the difference between let me just add something. The difference between them teams and our team, we have a template of destruction. At least in their seasons of changing managers and moving their ways of keeping to the guns, they're winning trophies and they're winning honours.
The winning trophies thing, I don't think is what, because you need to understand it. Fine,
I draw success. No, but I draw success. This is just me personally. I draw success in trophies and winning things. Okay. We have had a template of absolute shit for a long while. So we can't give the benefit to the doubt to Ange. We have to call out tactics and what has gone on. So that's the difference between me and you. Although you might think I'm drunk,
the reason why although you've not is because this has been almost 21 years of this years of destruction. That's from the
exactly. Board. So when is it going to change?
Well, it has to change instead of giving a manager a run.
So you've made an actually great point there, right? Well, you've made a very good point, but the only thing that's missing to the Pep, the Klopp, and the Arteta scenario is all three went out and spent significant money in positions that were vital. Now, if we're looking, as you said, 23 years of destruction. Are we going to see this summer? Right, I'm just going to look into the future now. Right, and then Mark, I want to bring you in on this as well. But are we going to see Spurs change their footprint in the summer? Because Ange's already come out and said we're not going to spend £100 million on a player, right? Which was taken out of context a little bit, right? Because he said he doesn't think he's going to be able to manage one in the sense of there won't be one available for his system right now, right? So it wasn't a case of we'll never do it. It was just a case of there's not one out there, right? But if all three of those clubs that you've used and Ange is obviously stubborn with his system, are Spurs going to spend this money to get Ange exactly what he needs to move this club forward? Or are we going to be stuck in 18 months and nothing?
Marlon, unfortunately, mate, it never happens. I'm always optimistic going into every window, thinking this summer's going to be different. We've got Mourinho now, the buy off the top shelf manager. We didn't do it. Yep. We got Conte in. You give him Lenglet instead of giving him defenders when he's a defensive manager. Why would it be any different now, mate? I don't know. It's not about spending 100 million anyway. It's about getting the right players in.
Of course.
But, it's identifying the right players and going and bringing them in. Will they do that? Well, they never have before, so I don't see why they would now. I mean, I live in hope. I always live in hope. This isn't a new thing. This isn't a new thing that we do a performance and then turn up and we lose to a team that we should be beating.
Nothing new. Yeah.
This is nothing new. Like, remember 2 seasons ago when Conte was there, we beat Man City. I went down to fucking Turf Moor. We lose 1-0 to Burnley. Ben Mee scored, and we didn't show up. This is not a new thing. It's not just the managers. This is and hardly any of them players are there now. Like, we always do this. This is the Tottenham thing. I don't know what the fuck it is, but this is what we do, and it's annoying and it spoils my weekend. And now we've got 2 weeks until we play another game. And we're a laughing stock.
I think we need them 2 weeks off after.
But wait, how can you say we need them 2 weeks off when we had a whole week off? Come on, man. But I'm sorry. Listen, nothing against you, bro. Honestly, I love the chat, love everything.
I'm not an optimistic fan, by the way.
Yeah, no.
You're not optimistic.
Yeah, man, but I'm. Look, maybe I'm just too harsh in it, and a lot of people call me out for being too harsh and just being reactionary. That's what they say in it. But I have no faith in Levy. Let me be totally honest with you, because you guys are talking about transfers and big signings and all of it. I could equally argue, look, as much as our goalkeeper was a success, but we did go cheap on him because we should have had Raya. You know, I can equally argue that we needed 2 centre backs, and you decided to go cheap on Van der Ven. Even though these guys are good signings, we were initially in for Tapsoba. As much as a lot of people disagree with me, I'm dead hard ball on it. I said we needed both. But my point is this, isn't it?
I agree.
We have a template of nonsense for the last 5-6 years, or even longer, you know, and not buying the quality players. Because for me, the point where we brought in Werner, the point where we spent big on Johnson, that's what people call big money nowadays, isn't it? You know, but let's be honest with you, the point where we're spending our big money on players like Richarlison, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I have it out for all these players, but that's not the quality I want to see at Tottenham. Do you understand where I'm coming from? But it comes down to that. I would want to see better. So Werner's and Richarlison's and what is it called? Whoever I said back then, even Brian Gills, they're not good enough for me, bro. They're not good enough for me.
The thing is with those three are just, you know, they're just run-of-the-mill garbage, if I'm being brutally honest. Brian Gill will probably have a good career. But it just hasn't worked for him over this side of the pond, and that's fine. But with Mickey's one of those players where you just have to say, you know what, that's great scouting. Yeah, because
of course,
really and truly, it's worked in our favor. I don't think he was cheap whatsoever. And yes, I do agree with you. We should have got both. We should have got him and Tapsoba. We had to wait all the way till January. We got Dragos in to be.
But even Dragusin, Talibo's available, and he's the better of the centre back. And I'm not saying. Listen, please. Let me just make something clear to a lot of people that are watching this. I'm not saying our signings are failures. I'm saying we've done this template of go cheap all the time, and we're still doing it. We're still doing it right now. We're not going for the first person that we want. Tapsoba for me, it could have been better than Van der Ven. What he's doing over at I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying.
But with Tapsoba, and this is where I'll give the club. I'll
go for it.
Stick up for the club on this one. Leverkusen, when they sold Diaby to Villa, said they didn't need to sell anyone else and were not accepting any offers. They didn't care about anyone
Money
else.
Talks, man.
Yeah, but we'd have had to offer 70 million pounds.
We're the richest club in the world. That's how I go back down to it.
I get it. But with Tapsoba, right, I get he's doing bits, but
we've only just recently become the richest club in the world.
Yeah. And he's in a function. Tapsoba's in a functional team. Tapsoba's in a functional team right now, because that back four and what Alonso's playing with, right? He's got a bloody great squad, Leverkusen. He has done well with them, and all their back four were literally linked to another club this summer. Right, Nikaby was linked with Barcelona. Tar was he was linked with Italian clubs. Tapsoba was obviously linked with everyone else. Frimpong, the right wing back, was linked with everyone else.
Sick,
right?
Man.
So Leverkusen, right, for me, this is what, like, they were not going to get rid of him. So but my problem was yeah, with what Spurs did was, right, and people are going to go, but it's all hindsight, right? We got Van de Ven in, right? You went and sold your quickest defender, even no matter how crap he was, after the windows closed, and left us short with Davis and Royale, right? So that's where I have
Eric Dyer.
Eric Dyer, who clearly
and then we had that injury crisis. We had that injury crisis, which we could have, I'm not saying, used someone like Sanchez in them moments.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Do you see my point?
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah. So
I agree with you, Marlon.
I've got 2 more questions to get out of you guys.
Can I ask a quick question on the Xavi Alonso thing? How long has he been at Leverkusen? 2 seasons?
A year and a half, I think.
So
18 months.
18
so he came
something like that.
He only came back in last season, I think.
Okay, so halfway through last season, he's implemented these tactics. He's had a whole preseason, and this is the season in which it's kicked on. Listen, the club, I don't think the club are going to spend crazy. They never have, to be fair. Yeah. And I do agree with what Ange is saying. It's not about going into the market. I think people see 100 million and think, oh, you need this player. No, even in January when we were linked with that young kid, Nusa, it's like, yo, this kid has an upstart. I was all in for that. And then obviously we ended up with Werner because, you know, whatever happened with Nusa. No, but with Nusa,
he failed a medical.
He failed a medical. To actually be fair, he failed a medical. The hilarious thing about us is because we didn't want to go out and do more research and say find somebody else. Yeah, we went and got Werner on loan. Again, I understand the whole loan thing, but I don't like the player that they got. And I know he's participated and helped out and all right, cool, that's nice. But then there's fans out there that are like, oh, go spend them 80 million on Neto. Well, brother, that would have been 80 million down your fucking toilet, yeah, because that guy has broken both his hamstrings. So it's like we've got I just feel like we just got to get to the end of this season. I still think top 4 is achievable because I don't think Aston Villa are going to go on a run and where they're not going to lose games. And
they've got the same amount of games as us in the team.
Exactly.
Relatively, that they're playing.
I think top 4 is achievable. I just think it's going to be a slog, and that's all it is.
Mark, I just want to quickly bring you on something, right? Van de Ven, right? Why is it when this guy's missing, our results deteriorate?
Because we play a high line and we've only got one quick, rapid centre back, Marlon, pretty much.
But is it going to become a bigger issue long term? Because his hamstring went in obviously time ago. But I don't know what he's done this time. But he keeps getting injured because he's having to play this way, right? So our Spurs going to have to look at it, and we need to get 2 quality quick ones in that position.
Yeah, well, supposedly we're looking, aren't we? Apparently, it's come out this week that he wants another centre back. Hopefully, a quick one. So yeah, that is obviously a position where we are light. And like you say, I totally agree with what you're saying about Sanchez. Not good, not great, but why would you get rid of the only other quick centre back that we have to keep Davis, Emerson, who's a right back anyway, not even a centre back, and Eric Dyer, who's a fucking cart horse, and you get rid of Sanchez when we can't bring no one else in. So clearly, it's a position we need to. I mean, Dragusin, doesn't look rapid, does he? To be honest with you, today, no. I'm not going to single him out. He didn't have a good game today, but none of them did. So I think it's wrong to signal the guy out.
Of course.
But yeah, we definitely would be having to look into another centre back. 100. And like the boys said, I wanted Tapsoba and Van de Ven. We needed 2 quality centre backs coming in as a priority in the summer. And that wasn't unrealistic. That was like you have to do that. Like, So we have to bring in another centre back, mate. And it's no coincidence. We handled it relatively well when Van de Ven got injured. And I'll be honest, although I've just said about Davis, he actually played all right. I've got to be honest. He done okay, but we can't rely on that. We know we can't rely on that man to play a whole season. So we have to get another centre back, mate. A left-sided centre back, left footer. Quick pace, can play the ball, get him in.
So, my last question to all of you, and I'm going to leave your last, right? Because he'll realise why I'm leaving him last, right? So, I said earlier on the show, it's been a year since Conte, right? If I said to you, right, both all of you right now, right, Conte's last game for us was after 28 games. He'd mentioned the Southampton game after he'd come out of his speech and everything like that. If I said to you, right, we have, right, points difference is only 4 points. We're only 4 points better off than we were last year. But yeah, everything was wrong last year. Conte was the devil, right? The football wasn't great. I will openly admit that. But the football's not been great since, like you've all said, hasn't been great since January. So Conte's speech, was he right? Because 4 points better off is not a dramatic change, but because Ange is playing what they say slightly attacking football, but we're still doing the exact same thing. Like you said, we're still beating Villa, smashing them 1 week, and losing to Fulham the week after. TJ, Conte, Ange ball. What's the
Man, I
difference?
don't know, man.
Apart from the 4 points.
No, there's no. Look, you know what it is, and it is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is, isn't it? Let's be honest with you. Let's support this meaty club, man.
Yep.
I don't have nothing to say, bro. Listen, you killed me, bro. I can't lie to you. I don't have nothing to say to that, man. If it is what it is, man. That's Tottenham.
You're last. You're last. I'm going to
That's Tottenham, and you can't look. You can't really do nothing about that, man.
Yeah.
We're doing the same things and just hoping for better.
Yeah.
And I hope. Listen, look. One of you guys said it's the first season. Maybe I'm jumping the gun. I hope that is true. Let's be honest with you. I will support this until I call it the same shit over and over again, innit? But yeah, man, it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
No, I'm being a bit over the top with it, but
Well,
I'm one of them. I was with Conte last year, right? I think the football was bad, but the results were there and thereabouts at times, and he literally lost 3-1 up against Southampton. You can see why he lost the plot a little bit, right? There was a lot of things going on with him personally. The season was a bit of a write-off. 18 months. Ange is now here the exact same amount of times as last year, and we're now one victory, we've got one more win than last season. Everything's still exactly the same as it was last year, but for some reason everyone thinks it's different. But is it different?
Well, we've lost our really truly world-class player, Marlon, for a start. Harry Kane has gone to Bayern Munich. That's a massive difference from, you know.
But I'd say that Conte had a worse defense.
True.
And conceded more.
When you even it up, like Conte had Harry Kane, and I totally agree. And Ange hasn't. But actually, Ange has had Van der Ven, Porro, Udogie, and all of those.
Well, Conte did have Porro, didn't he? But Porro wasn't playing well.
Yeah, but we're conceding more though. We're conceding more. What's that about?
We're scoring
we're conceding every single game.
It's
swings and roundabouts.
Conte was right. Listen, and I said it. This is Tottenham. That this is the crazy thing. We always do this, no matter who the manager is. I would rather. I didn't hate Conte, to be honest with you, because I said he wasn't given the tools. He wasn't given the tools to do the job. So how can you blame the man?
But ironically, this manager, a lot of Spurs fans believe he has been given the tools.
He's been given some of them, yeah. He has been given some of them.
So why is there not a dramatic change?
At the start of the season, I thought we'd come about 7th, and at the minute we're on for top 4, top 5 finish. And if we get that, then I'm happy. So I'm not going to start saying.
To be honest,
he's gone above my expectations. So I can't sit here.
I agree.
I'm not going to be TJ. Clearly, you've been saying this for weeks, so you've got to stay on that narrative. I haven't been on that. I haven't been on that bus. So
Mark, I rate that. Yeah.
I'm not going to be overreactionary on this. I'm pissed off. Like I'm really pissed off that today. But I've got to stay on and say the football has been better than under Conte. So I'm going to stick with it. Yep. Like your man said, I know it's not Scott Hall. Sorry, what's your name, mate? Sorry for writing me. I'm more of what you're saying. I think we've got to give him this season. And see where it takes us next year. And TJ, hopefully, he gets more of the tools, mate. That's what I'm hoping.
Hopefully, let's hope. Let's hope. No. I'm wise enough and I'm old enough to come out here and say I'm wrong. I'd rather be wrong than right. Let
No,
me
of
be
course.
honest with
Look,
you.
you
I
got your
put myself
opinion,
on this internet. I put myself on this on YouTube to get abused. Let's be honest with you. I'd rather be wrong, but it's just Levy's good old ways, innit? Let's put it like that.
So, yo, I've been saving you till last because you literally hated every moment of Conte ball from start to finish. Right? Every time you came on here, every time you was on your pod, you hated it from start to finish. I remember, even when we were finishing fourth, you hated it. Talk to me, brother.
I almost tolerated when we finished fourth on the sole basis that we nicked one. We didn't deserve to, but we nicked one. And I was like, hey,
thanks to Lego Head.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll take it. Yeah, no. And I thought, all right, we get into the summer, sign some players, and yeah, we'll be rolling. Yeah. Now, Conte got us fourth with Romero. I think it was Romero Dyer. That's our centre back partnership. I might be wrong. No, yeah, I think it was.
Yeah,
Romero.
he got back in the England squad, didn't he? Dyer,
Yeah, so I think
Romero,
we were still playing a free at the back. So it was Romero Dyer and
Sanchez and Davis.
And then Sanchez came in for Romero
when he got injured
after the Arsenal game.
So I was like, all right, cool, we're playing with three centre backs and all that kind of jazz. And I think it was just before the Arsenal game. I was like, yeah, this brother is a fraud. Listen, Conte is an utter fraudster. He's not of Italian descent. He's of Nigerian descent. Yeah, that is a true 419er. I know these fraudsters. I'm not going to tell you how I know. Nobody can ask me questions, but I know a fraudster when I see one, and that guy is premium fraud. You can't even get him a fire stick of this version. This guy's fraud. Yeah. So we get into the second season with Conte, and the people will be like, "Oh, he wasn't given the tools." Yeah, I do agree. Defensively, we didn't like bolster up any of the positions that we needed to. You know, we didn't get like another centre back. Well, that would have been great because Eric Dyer is absolutely by name and by nature an absolute diabolical piece of human being. But that's another day, another story. But Conte did get quite a few reinforcements. I mean, he had Perisic, he got given Basuma, and do you know what surprised me the most? And I know I literally just canned Basuma on this podcast.
Yeah, you did.
He's been garbage for 20 games. But do you know who Conte told us was better than Basuma for an entire season? His name is horseshit. No, sorry, I was going to say horseshit, but his actual name is Højbjerg. That guy's garbage. He's trash. Can't move. He literally goes left when his body's going right. It doesn't make sense. He is absolute dog shit. And we had to play with this guy in midfield for an entire season. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't understand it. It made no sense. He's every single match under Conte. There's not a game last season that I can tell you where I thought Spurs deserved that. Not one. Not a single game. And we had quite a few victories because at one point we were fourth. So I was like, how
15,
can I?
15 to be exact.
Listen, 15 victories. And you mean to tell me I couldn't name you one game? Not one. Just all I needed was one. I couldn't name you one specific game. I was like, I feel like we deserve that. Not one. Not a single one. Not against any of the big boys. Not against any of the minnows. Not one. I was like, who this season reminds me of Spurs last season? And you know what? It's Manchester United. But you want to know the narrative that's hilarious about United and Spurs? The pundits are telling you United can still finish fourth. Spurs last season, when we were fourth, they were telling us it's unsustainable. Yep. United have 11 defeats as of right now. You could not look at their remaining games and tell me where they're going to get a victory from. You couldn't.
And we had 9 at this time last year.
Imagine. You couldn't. So there is a bias. And I do understand that because Spurs have created their own narrative. That's we can't hide away from it. The whole Dr. Tottenham stuff is literally our own doing. Yeah. But the fact that a team that is currently 6th with 11 defeats, and you can go check their running games, you wouldn't find a game in that running where you're like, that's a 3-pointer for United. I'm not saying they'll lose every single game, but you could understand if they did, because they've stunk all season. Yet the team with 11 defeats, according to the pundits and the world, can nick fourth. How? There's been the most amount of defeats to get a top 4 position. Funny enough, I believe it belongs to us. And I believe it was Conte's season, and we finished with 11 defeats. That is the most I've seen in the Premier League era to get a 4th place position. The team that's currently 6th has that. And the thing that annoys me about Conte is I feel like after like game week 8, where he's like, oh, these men didn't give me they didn't give me Bastoni. Yeah. After that, he was like, sod it. I don't want to be here. And so because he didn't want to be here, everybody else just completely capitulated. I was like, you're a bloody bastard. Because Son's hit was lying. He's completely fallen apart. I actually, by the summer, I wanted him gone. Marlon knows this. I wanted him gone. Because I was like, if you're going to give me what I saw last season, listen, I will beat you up. Like, I'm not going to have that. I will jump down from the south stand. It will get violent fast. Yeah. But, son, apologies. You turned it around. Yeah. You're not my son, but you're somebody else's son, innit? So well done. Yeah. You done your thing. Even Richarlison, for the love of Jesus Christ. Honestly, we flushed 60 million down the drain, but at least he's repaid more of that 60 million than Ndombele. Yeah, because
the last 2 months.
That's another one, another story. But in terms of what Postecoglou's been given, I think he's been given some tools, not all the tools, because people are forgetting Kulu was already there, Basuma was already there. So he just implemented Basuma into the team. It wasn't a tool that was given to him. He just implemented him into the team. Destiny we'd already signed, technically, if you want to consider it like that. So it wasn't a Postecoglou signing either. Sarr was already there. Again, another player that wasn't used by Conte. So to stay on the bench for Højbjerg, don't know why. Maddison came in and, had an upside, kind of, call it 50-50 kind of season. Mickey, Vicario, new goalkeeper. We've been screaming for a new goalkeeper for 3 whole seasons. This is the part of Spurs that infuriates me. We've been screaming for a whole... Hugo Lloris has been drunk of French wine, the finest French wine, for 3 bloody years. Before COVID. He probably knew COVID was coming. That's probably why he started drinking wine. Yeah. This guy was drunk for 3 whole seasons, and we let him fizzle out into the background. Vicario's come in, done well. But you know what that means? Vicario can't get injured in the next 2 years, right? Because we ain't buying a goalkeeper in the next 2 years. I hope everybody's prepared for that. We ain't buying another goalkeeper in the next 2 years. And I'm going to say it here on this podcast. I've said it on our main podcast on the Touchline Fragger. I don't know who most of Spurs fans think we are, but I'm here to tell you the bad news early. Timo Werner is going to be signed.
Yeah. Nah, man, I can't accept that, man.
I'm letting you guys know this. Yeah? Hey, TJ, I'm with you. Just TJ, I don't even have a season ticket no more. So if you want to come to the South Stand and find Eric Dyer's brother, me and you can do that. Yeah, I'm letting you guys know that Timo Werner is going to be signed in the summer. There is no way on this earth Levy is going to look at 15 million and say, I'm not going to trigger that. He's going to do that. And you know what? I've even heard this murmur recently has pissed me off. I don't actually have a problem with this player, by the way. But he's not the boost in quality. We've bought some players. We think, oh yeah, they're good quality. Now we got to buy players that challenge those players or are better. That's how you build your stock as a team and make your team a better team. But I'm hearing murmurs that we are looking at Kyle Walker Peters.
Yes.
And I'm like,
it makes no sense, bruv.
Why?
It makes no sense.
Why are we doing this? Why? Listen, Mark, first time meeting you, I'm not a violent guy. I just have violent moments. Yeah. This is going to be a very violent moment because there's no way we can go into this summer, sign Timo, Kyle Walker Peters, and then tell the rest of the world we're going to finish top 4. You must be drunk. You must be mad. Yeah. Like, what kind of nonsense is this? We need players that, if Mickey gets injured, if Maddison gets injured, the legitimate drop is non-existent. Fine, City took a while to build up this kind of like super team that they've built up, yeah. But City can lose KDB and just put Bernardo Silva there, and you wouldn't know what the hell's hit you. They can lose Bernardo Silva and KDB, put Foden there, and you'd be like, did they just get better? Like, what happened? You know what Spurs drop off is? We lose Maddison, and we got Skip, a Chris Packet. Like what? Like what am I doing here? Like legit, like I can't. Spurs are in this point right now. TJ made it very clear, and it's very true. We're one of the richest clubs in the world. We're new to this money. We need to spend
with the
this money.
highest ticket, with the highest season ticket
We
ticket
need-
prices.
Yeah, bruv. The
Let's
ticket
mention that.
through the roof. But we need to spend this money that Beyonce has helped us generate. Yeah. Marlon, don't laugh. That's Beyonce came back. She spent 10 days. I'm thankful for her helping us build this revenue. Yeah. Hey, she came there. She said she was falling in love. I said, "Oh, thank you, Queen. You know, please, because we need this money. We need this change. Yeah. Listen, we need to spend this money like a kid in a candy store. We need to go mad. I don't want to see us go for the nettos and stuff like that, but I do want us to spend.
But will we though?
No, we won't, TJ. We know this. But,
So there's
but
a
saying
pattern happening here.
In saying that, I'm going to be fair. I didn't know much about Mickey. I saw 1-2 highlights and I was like, he's fast. That's all I've got for you. I didn't know whether he could defend. I didn't know whether he was good aerially. I just saw 1-2 highlights. I was like, this guy is bloody fast. Like he would burn my entire family bloodline. He's fast. Yeah. So he's come in. And that partnership with Romero, when it works, it's quality. Yeah. I think Romero is still a bit rash. He's still building himself up. But he can be something. He's just annoying because when he's poor, he's poor. But Mickey has actually been a great buy. If you can give Postecoglou 3 or 4 of, the Mickey kind of like, they weren't so cheap, but they're quality players in the more like midfield attacking areas, then you can start saying, well, cooking. Something can really build. The problem is, Son will be a mainstay. That's fine. He's not over the hill yet, but he'll be a mainstay. I don't think we're going to get. Listen, Richarlison just can't stay. So listen, you man in Saudi, I've got a couple brothers that have moved over to Dubai. Make the link, brother. Yeah, it doesn't even need to be 60 million. Small 45. Take this Brazilian off our hands. Any Brazilian that considers themselves to be a pigeon isn't a real Brazilian. I've been saying this for years. That's not one of the birds that they look up to. This guy he's really Stephen from Trafalgar Square, if I'm being brutally honest. Like, why would you name yourself a pigeon? It's not a good nickname. It's just not a good nickname. So no, I think we get into the summer. I like the fact that the club are saying they're going to get another centre back. That's good. That's what we need, because we've got 3 right now that I'm not going to say Dragusin is a guaranteed starter, but at least the drop-off is not crazy. But you get another centre back that's up there with Mickey and Romero, you're moving. I also think we need another left back.
I said that, yeah.
Yeah, because really, I don't think we can get a left back and a right back. So I'd rather get another left back. I can't believe I'm saying this. Probably hold on to Emerson for just half a season and, try and survive without having to really use him too tough. But we definitely need a number 6. We need a Rodri. Yeah, that guy's a nasty piece of shit. Yeah, somebody that has the essence of Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon before the allegations, by the way. Yeah, Vince McMahon essence of evil within their way of play. Rodri plays for City and under the
Declan Rice is probably a great example of what he's done to Arsenal this year.
But the 100 million stuff is where you see right there. Yeah, we're not going to do that. Let's just be brutally honest. And Declan Rice, he's had a great season. I mean, it's more boosted on the fact that Arsenal have been so hard to break down, like literally hard to break down. But is
that not down to him? Is that not partly because he's protecting that back four compared to what Partey and them lot were doing last year, where they were a bit more exposed?
Yeah, they were a bit more exposed, but they've had a pretty. Let's be fair. Arsenal have had a pretty good defense for like 2.5 seasons.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. But Rice has come in, like you said,
and made it more solid. Yeah,
and made it more solid in the fact that they've played together. Like even forget Zinchenko for now.
Yeah, exactly.
But you talk about Ben White, Gabriel, and Saliba, but Rice has come in, even though they had that dip when Odegaard was missing around Christmas.
Yeah.
Their defense is what's kept them over the line, and that's where for us that number 6 comes in.
Yeah.
But before I let you all go, right? Because we're talking about the summer, right? Will we be preparing next year for Champions League, Europa League football, or no European football? TJ first.
Depends on if Arsenal win the Champions League.
No, I'm just asking you. No, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter on that. Doesn't matter on that. I'm asking you.
No.
Where do you?
Brother, what is that?
No. Look, I believe it. I believe we're gonna get Europa League. To be honest with you, I think
Okay.
we're just gonna miss out. I think we're 5 points far away from Aston Villa. Let's be honest with you. Maybe
What?
things can change, but our run is looking difficult.
Mark?
I think we'll get Champions League. It might not be fourth position, it might be fifth, but if we get that other spot, which at the minute the English teams have just overtaken Germany, haven't they? That means the fifth place gets Champions League.
Oh,
I think, I think Champions League.
Yo.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's a Champions League. I still think fourth is up for grabs, and that's not on the basis that I think we will just like run the way to fourth. I don't think Aston Villa can run all the way. Like honestly, I think they're just gonna peter out. I think Aston Villa are gonna finish fifth. And I've been saying it for like the last 2 months. Like I just think they've got too much on their hands to sustain that fourth place. If they do, they do. Well done. But one team I will say out and out, I don't give a damn what anybody thinks. United are not finishing top 5. Yeah, everybody get that out of your head. There's not. I would rather flipping go to a place of pure hatred. Yeah. Then understand how a team with possibly 12, 13, 14 defeats finishes in the top 5. The game is gone if that happens. And I may quit watching football after that.
Guys, thank you so much, all of you, for coming on. Hopefully it's been some therapy for the hour that we've been on.
I've tried.
Mark, you can find at, is it 1981 Spur on Twitter? Or was it X?
I think so. Something like that. Something like that.
Yeah, you can find on X 1981 Spur. Please go follow him. And he also appears on this channel a few times and appears on a few others. Please find Yao, Scott Hall, also from the Online Fracas New Spurs Order.
Yeah, Touchline Fracas, New Spurs Order.
Fracas.
Yeah.
But that's where you'll find him and the guy. Trust me, very funny. We've had a few of them on here, right? And every single one of them is top notch. Definitely a good one to listen to, especially when because you can tell all of them are friends as well. Yeah, you can blatantly tell all mates as well. So go over there and watch them. And TJ, Spursy Talks, your own channel, but you're also on here on previews on Friday. And obviously you come and do this with me and you help us out with Ashmatic stuff and the rival show as well. Anything to add before we go?
When's my paycheck, baby? Yeah, no. Big up everybody, man. I really enjoyed it, man. You guys made me smile at the end. Look, I was so pissed off from the start, and look at me now.
Look at you now. We're all smiling.
Yeah, man. So big up everybody, man.
Yeah, anyone in the chat, thank you all for joining us today. You've been brilliant again, as always. You make me go longer than I should, even when I'm trying to cut it down and some of the stuff that you've been saying. Please tune in on Tuesday. Ashmatic is back with his analysis. Obviously got a lot to break down from this weekend. And then the rival show is back Wednesday, where probably Spurs are in the mud as per usual, right? But we'll try and get Man United fan on. Hopefully they'll be in the mud as well. But yeah, where the match reaction will be back against Luton in 2 weeks. But yeah, hopefully, and please, anyone watching on their TV, any silent watchers, please like, subscribe, and comment. We will reply to all comments that are made. But as usual, in Ange we trust, and come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.